Hey, this is Doug Pinnick from KXM, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today I have on the line with me the frontman from KXM and KXM. It's an honor to have him on this show, Mr. Doug Pinnick. What's up, Doug?
Hey, you. What's up?
We got Doug on the line, and we're going to be talking about the new KXM album. And I got to say, man, this is a really good album from you guys. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Thanks. Gee, I don't know what to say. We did it fairly quick. It was sort of just the three of us got together and decided to do a project. And boy, were we surprised with what happened with it.
Yeah. Looks like it debuted at number 31 on the Billboard Top 200. So
yeah, and it was number one in the rock chart on Billboard too for a moment.
How did the band actually come together?
We were hanging out at Ray's house, and it was his son's birthday. It was his 1-year-old, and Ray invited all of his friends to show up, and I had just moved to town, and I've known Ray for a while, and I've known George for a while, and ended up going to the party, and we were all there, and just through conversation, make a long story short, we just made a commitment. Let's do something together. And usually, when you say let's do something together with people, nothing ever gets done because everybody's so busy. But George is just a go-getter. That guy, I don't think he sleeps. And he just went after it. And by the time I could turn around, we had a record done. And he's still pushing. He's pushing this record like crazy. I wish I had his energy.
And I've seen so many stuff that he's done. I mean, he's done multiple projects, and they've all been success.
Yeah.
You three guys putting this together, it's a slamming album. What do you think some of your favorite stuff is off this album, Doug?
I don't have favorites only because musically I didn't write anything but my bass part and lyrics and melody. So, I had nothing to do with anybody else. So everything is a surprise to me. So what I hear from everybody, I love it. What George did, what Ray did, it's not like I wrote a song and then they did my song. Like a lot of my projects I do that in. This was really spontaneous. So every time I play it, I'm just always, I just can't decide, I guess, And lyrically, the same thing. I just poured my heart out, and almost to a fault.
I talked to Ray about this, and he hooked me up with you, and I'm glad he did. And he was talking about a new single that you guys were talking about, trying to pick one. And I said, well, Love is really good. And Ray's like, holy crap, I'll let Doug know about that because you guys were trying to pick another one for another single. But now,
yeah. Well, we kind of did a little poll and asked a bunch of people at radio stations what they thought. Mm-hmm. And I guess the consensus was Faith and Gunfight. So I think at this point I found out today that those are the two videos we're going to do next. I'd like to do videos for everything.
Yeah. So Gunfight and Faith will be the next two?
That's what they're talking about. That could change tomorrow. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Are you guys going to plan on doing a little touring with this group, or what are you guys working on with that?
Yeah, that's going to happen. We just can't figure it out yet because Ray's with Korn so much. And, I've got my side projects and KXM and Ray. And George has Lynch Mob and stuff like that. Yeah. But, the plan is we're going to make this happen somehow.
Let's talk about a little bit of KXM. What's up with KXM these days?
We're just doing weekend shows, maybe 3 or 4 shows a month on the weekend. We fly in, we do the shows, and go home. It's been working out really good because we haven't done a lot of touring in the last 4 or 5 years. We just needed to take a break, and as a result of it, we're selling places out, and everybody's ready to hear KXM again, which is a good thing. Sometimes you have to, absence makes the heart go fonder, Are
you guys working on any new material right now, possibly a new album coming out, maybe?
No, we're not doing anything. Jerry's doing his solo record, and Ty is doing his thing, and, I'm out here doing all my side projects. But it just doesn't seem like anybody's interested right now to make a record. And I understand. I think everybody needs to just get away and find whatever it is we're looking for. Then when we get back, hopefully we'll make a great record.
Do you like the whole side project deal? I mean, do you think sometimes that takes away from the main interest of the main band, or what's your opinion on that?
Nah, it doesn't, because, I mean, the bottom line is nothing is 24 hours a day. So, I mean, side projects take a week or 2 weeks to do, and then, work on, on interviews and pushing the record and stuff, and maybe doing some shows, but it's a very little time, seriously, and it just doesn't take away from our, for me, it doesn't take away from King's X at all. It never did. In fact, the reason I do all these side projects is because there's nothing to do in those places where King's X isn't doing anything, or I just write songs. I write 10, 15, 20 songs, and then by the time King's X gets together, I've got all these songs, to learn, and we're not going to do them all, so I figure, what am I going to do with these songs? Do I do a solo record? And, it's just the way I am. I just love to write music. I've been doing it for like 50 years now. It's just a common thing. I just love writing.
I said, why let songs sit there when you could put them to use,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I've written a lot of songs that most people won't hear.
Musically, who were some of your influences coming up, Doug?
The truth is everybody was, because I was a little sponge. Whatever I heard, if I found something good in it, or I found something in it that I liked, I always would embrace it. There are very few bands that I actually would say were my all-time favorites. I mean, I could say Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and Little Richard and Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin. Sly and the Family Stone was a big, big deal for me. But then, you can move on. U2 was something that I really, really, in early U2, the first 4 U2 albums were really life-changing for me lyrically, and just a whole new approach on music. Metallica came along and gave me permission to get heavy again when it wasn't cool in the 80s, And there's just so many things that happened in music that influenced me. My 2 favorite bands at the moment, what I'm listening to a lot, is Meshuggah and Coldplay. They're complete opposites, but oh goodness, both bands have just been just making me rethink everything, and I can't wait to start writing some new music, because it will probably sound like Meshuggah meets Coldplay, and that's going to be really fucked up.
I'm a metal band, and I love horror music too, horror punk music, and
oh yeah,
I like the song "Yellow" by Coldplay.
Yes, wasn't it a great song?
Yeah,
but their last couple of records by Coldplay, most of the fans didn't like them because they're really exploring new ground. Mm-hmm. But as far as I'm concerned, it's some of the best stuff they've ever done. Yeah, I can't wait till the new record comes out.
And I think bands are so scared, Doug, to go outside that box because they're afraid of losing people. But people, it's your music. You're the one that has to be satisfied with it.
That's true. I mean, it seems like everybody has a different take. We're all just people. And even though we all play music, we all don't think alike, and we all don't approach our music the same. And we come from different backgrounds. Some guys are real insecure. Some guys are real confident. You've got all the emotions that are tied up in the individual who makes music. So, as a result of it, we get a hybrid of all kinds of crazy stuff. And, some of it we don't agree with. Some of it we don't understand. Some people, it's very important to them to sell records and to go along with the program. Say, for instance, AC/DC, they make the same record every year, and they know it, and they don't deny it. And it's a formula that works for them. And the sad thing about it is, if they tried something new, I don't think anybody'd like it. So it's sort of it's a dichotomy in many, many ways of in a contradiction, being an artist and what we do, especially in this world where everything is for sale,
Yeah. Speaking of AC/DC, they're coming out with a new album and plus touring, from what I've been hearing.
Awesome! I can't wait. I hope it sounds just like the first one. Yeah. I buy every AC/DC record that comes out. I do.
Yeah, a lot of my friends at work, we discuss music a lot, and we hit on AC/DC a lot. It's like every discussion we talk about, and it's like, well, AC/DC plays the same stuff over and over. I said, but yeah, they keep selling albums. So,
and if you ever saw them live, you could listen to that same song for 2 hours. It's that amazing. We toured with them for 2 months, or 4 months actually. I watched every night. It was the exact same show, and I got goosebumps every night. There is no band that's ever done that. After 2 nights in a row of watching a band, I'm bored with them because they're not giving me anything new. Because most bands do the same shows every night, and you know, and you can feel it and you can tell it if you follow them around. But AC/DC, boy oh boy, I don't know what it is about them, but they put everything in to every show, and it's like it's new.
And it's like every song grabs your attention, regardless if it's the same song or not.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, y'all just play this, but I still got to listen. What do you hope that fans take away from the KXM album once they listen to it? What do you hope that they get from this?
I had no more or no less than what I give everybody, just myself. Hopefully people will like it. Hopefully they'll think they're good songs and they'll continue to play them and pass them on to their friends. And somehow, hopefully it'll stand the test of time, you know. When
fans get to come out and see you guys, you, Ray, and George, what can they expect at a show from y'all from KXM?
You know, we've never played together out live, so I have no clue. I just know that I will bring my voice and my bass and my attitude, and hopefully, you know, we'll all gel into something really cool. You know, I mean, a lot of people know that since, you know, I'm singer and bass player at King's X and frontman, then KXM is going to have that element. You know, I mean, I'm not going to be somebody else.
Right.
So you know, I just don't know what will actually it'll sound like, you know, or what. Put it this way, I know it'll sound like. I just don't know what the vibe will be. I think we're going to have fun though, because George is crazy and Ray is a workaholic, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you know what, too, Doug, I told several people this. I said this CD is really good because it's diverse. It's got different aspects of music and tones on the songs.
Yeah, I noticed that, especially with George. He really, really came up with a lot of cool guitar parts.
I'll be playing it on here. You guys got a ton of support from BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio, that's for sure.
Oh, cool.
With the KXM, does all of you guys putting in any contributions into the songs as far as writing? How do you guys working this out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, basically nobody tells anybody what to do and nobody makes any suggestions. Everybody trusts each other to come up with whatever it is that they do in it, and hopefully it'll be good. And that's how we did it, and it worked. That's why I was saying earlier that when I listen to this record, I'm hearing drum parts and guitar parts that I wouldn't have thought of, you know. And my bass playing and singing is because of what they did. And so it was a marriage, or sort of an affair that I really enjoyed. I can't wait to do it again. You know, we always look at our bands like marriages. You know, it's like I'm married to King Zach, but I got me a mistress right now, and she's really making me happy.
I think that's the best way to describe it, actually. What do you think that KXM brings to the table for music? I know it's a diverse album and everything, but what do you think?
You know, I hope that it just reinforces that rock, that people can still rock out, and people want to hear just straight up rock and roll. I mean, right now music has gone into so many different genres and directions that just a straight up rock band, you just don't find them too much anymore. So, you know, I think that maybe we'll find a gap in the music community and people will like it. Sort of like the winery dogs did.
Do you think that since it's the digital age, Doug, that it's helped bands out a lot more, or do you think it's really hurt them?
Well, you know, it's hurt and helped us. I mean, we're broke, we're starving to death, we can't make a living at this because of the internet. But yet, the internet has given us our careers back and taken it away from the record companies. So all we have to do is just be wise at what we do, and hopefully, you know, we'll still continue to make a living at this. But things have changed for sure, especially with the free download thing. You know, kids will not pay for stuff anymore, and they don't feel they have to, or they feel the right to. As soon as someone comes on and complains about putting a record out and people are downloading it for free, there's nothing but static on the internet from people saying, well, why not? You know, it should be free. It's almost to a point now where people don't realize that there was a time when you had to buy this stuff. With kids nowadays, they're just so used to downloading everything for free that's just the way it is. So now I guess bands have to concentrate on live shows because there's so much on the internet that you can see live on a band. You can see a band at its best and worst conditions, because from iPhones and all kinds of stuff that people are posting on YouTube. But the thing is, nothing beats a live show, especially if it's a good show. So I think that's all we have left to do, and I think people will pay if you give them something really good. And maybe we can still make a living at this, like Prince does. Prince says, buy my record. Well, no, you can't come to a show unless you buy his record. So when you buy a ticket, you get a record too. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's actually pretty cool. Like you're saying, shows are where it's at, and it's true because I like Danzig, and I finally got to see Danzig last October with Doyle, and that was a kick-ass show. I was glad I got to see it.
Wow, I bet it was.
That was really, really cool. Okay, strangest place a song has hit you, and you had to instantly start writing something.
The strangest place?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything, because usually when I decide to write a song, I'll just be in my studio, and I'll just pull up the tune tracks and grab my guitar and just start working on something. There's no method to my madness. It's just every now and then I'll just pick up a guitar and start working on a song. Sometimes it'll take me a month to finish it, even though I'll work on it for 3 or 4 hours and then not go back to it for a month. Yeah. Because when I just get inspired, and when I do it, I'll do it. When I'm not inspired, I just don't. I probably could write a song a day if I really worked at it, but, for me, it's all about inspiration.
Do you prefer clubs or festivals, or does it even really matter?
It really doesn't matter. As long as the situation is comfortable and there's good monitors and we have a great crowd, it doesn't matter how big or small it is, because I've done them all, and I guess at the end of the day, the only thing about big crowds is if we're doing big crowds, that means we're making big money and we're big time. So that's probably the only reason I like to do big shows. But other than that, yeah, I'll play for anybody. We'll play for 20 people and give them 120%. That's one thing King's X has always done, and that's what I don't know. I've always done that. I'm a ham. As soon as I have an audience, I got to get it.
What's it mean to you? And I'm sure you've got emails from King's X fans and others, but what does it mean to you when you get that email saying, you've helped me through a tough time, or you've inspired me through a good time? What's that mean?
It means a lot to me. It means there's a reason for me doing this. When a guy takes me in the corner at a bar and says, my wife put the gun down when she heard Gretchen, or a transgender person comes up to me and says, I was going to kill myself until you gave the speech on Believe, saying don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about you and be yourself.
Exactly.
I've heard so many stories from people. This one guy said, I've been neglecting my son, but when you gave that speech at Woodstock about, your kids, he says, I've dedicated my life to my kids and I'll thank you. So it's like, I'm just happy that that's happening. When I do it, I don't think about it. When I say those things, I don't think about how it's going to affect someone. Personally, I'm just telling people what I've learned in my life and how I get through, because I'm just a normal person like everybody else. I have my depressions, I have my shortcomings. I have all the same demons that everybody else has, and we all have to deal with them. I just get to talk about it publicly so that I don't feel alone, and hopefully other people don't feel alone too.
I'm just a little DJ behind a microphone here at my home doing this out of my spare time. I love music. I eat music. I breathe music. And it's because of musicians like you and King's X and Ray and everybody that give me inspiration to do this. So thank you as a fan.
Oh, you're totally welcome, and thank you for even calling me to talk.
Doug, how can people reach out to say we still love King's X, KXM? How can they do that?
Oh, yeah, well, you can, KXM has Facebook. King's X has Facebook. I have Doug Pinnick, D-U-G Pinnick. I have my Facebook and a fan page. We're easy to find. In fact, if you just Google Doug Pinnick, and it scares me. So, we're easy to find. I got to figure that all out one day, just to condense things so people can easily find King's X. I've never been good at commercially selling myself to the masses, so I'm beginning to learn.
Slowly but surely, my friend, you learn something new every day.
Oh, yeah. If you're not learning, you're not going nowhere. If you're not progressing, you're stagnant.
That's exactly right. I want to thank you so much for taking time out to do this. Like I said, you've been an inspiration to me, and I always love talking with you. You're always welcome on the show anytime, hands down. Just let me know you're back on here.
All righty. Well, thank you so much.
Not a problem, man. Will you care to do a promo for the show before I let you go, Doug?
I don't mind at all. Okay. Hey, this is Doug Pinnick from King's X, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Stick around, everybody. We're going to throw some King's X, and we're going to throw some KXM. So stick around. You'll hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Doug.
Right on, brother.